History may be about to repeat for Cardano ADA, and that is exactly what we're going to be talking to you guys about in this video. And if the past is anything to go by, Cardano holders have a bright future ahead of them. And yes, that is even despite of the weekend and the price action that we've just come on the back end of. We have a lot to cover in this video. This is absolutely a video not to miss. And if you are a Cardano holder, you are absolutely going to love what we have for you today. We are still absolutely bullish on the cryptocurrency market. And of course, Cardano is a part of that. And when we take a technical look at Cardano, we still think it's very much heading in the right direction, the direction the overall market is likely to go in, regardless of what we saw take place over the weekend. So without further ado, guys, I want you to strap yourselves in. We're going to be looking at Cardano from a technical point of view. We're going to be looking at the broader cryptocurrency market. But where we're actually going to be starting on this Cardano video is with Cardano's nemesis, Ethereum. And why on earth, Allincrypto, are you showing me an Ethereum chart? Well, it's to remind people of the nature of the beast that they are dealing with. One reason that we are big advocates for retail traders not trading leverage when it comes to crypto is because you will lose all of your money. So we really advocate for being on the broader side of the trend. So if it's an uptrend, you are spot long. If it's a downtrend, you get out the market and you sit on your hands and wait. If it's in what we would define as a stage one, which is a base, it's accumulation time, and so on and so forth. Stage three is time to get out the markets. And the reason that I'm starting on Ethereum is to show you guys that actually in a bull market, certainly the 2020 to 2021 and the 2020-21 bull market, Ethereum had frequent 35% plus pullbacks. And actually, you know, this is very, very common and really kind of highlights the nature of the beast that we are dealing with. And if we now dive over to Cardano, what am I referring to when I'm talking about history repeating? So this most recent pullback for Cardano was at its height around about 50%. Now that is absolutely brutal, ladies and gentlemen, but this is crypto. It's a very low volume, low liquidity market, and it's a exceptionally volatile and rough market to ride through, even myself. So with this recent pullback, I'm still up on my portfolio, regardless of some altcoins doing what the likes of Cardano did. Cardano is not my largest holding. We have spoken previously about actually how I think there's a lot of altcoins that I actually think will outperform Cardano. But it's a cryptocurrency that I admire, and it's a cryptocurrency that I hold, even if it's not my largest position. And even despite of what we saw take place over the weekend, we were still up on our portfolio, generally since we got back into the markets in 2023 at the start. But it's still not a nice ride, but this is the nature of the beast that you are dealing with. And the cryptocurrency space really hasn't had a significant pullback thus far. And I think we just got it. And actually, if history is anything to go by, this could indeed be the very catalyst that is going to see some serious upside of momentum take place, the kind of final flush out, if you will. And what am I referring to when I'm talking about history repeating? Well, if you look at the Cardano chart, obviously we know the story, or some of you may not, but historically, 2018 was our bear market, 2019 was sort of a base. And then after the capitulation that came on the back end of March 2020, the market sort of sorted itself out. And if we take a look at what Cardano did back then and look at what it's currently doing today, you can see it's very much doing the exact same thing. You have a double bottom, you have that divergence on the lower low, and then you start to sort of climb your way back out the pit. But you get frequent pullbacks along the way. So this pullback for Cardano was 76%. This one was 56%. Very much similar to what Cardano is doing today. The important thing is we want to get on the right side of this 30 weekly moving average. Anybody that's familiar or has done any of my courses, you'll know that we teach something called stage analysis of the 30 weekly moving average. Is a really helpful tool to identify kind of what stage we're in. A little bit of a rule of thumb, you want to be below the 30 weekly moving average on a downtrend. When you're kind of basing, you kind of chop in and around it, and then in an uptrend, you want to remain on the correct side of it. And actually Cardano, I think with a little bit of a push, can actually get there. You have to give a little bit of nuance when it comes to crypto, just because of how volatile it is. Crypto got absolutely murdered over the weekend. But what I'm really here to kind of do and show people is actually, this is very normal. That's why we started off on this kind of Ethereum chart, to show you the volatility. Remember, a lot of these cryptocurrencies have significantly smaller market caps than even Ethereum did back in the prior bear going into the bull. But this is actually very normal. And this, again, is why we encourage people not to trade leverage when it comes to crypto. Because if you get caught even once, your account is gone. And if you are spot long, you have a kind of real advantage in the sense that you're not going to lose the cryptocurrencies that you have. We still had the exact same crypto in terms of the amount of cryptos that we had on Thursday than we do today. But you can see the kind of similarities very much so with these charts. They look extremely similar. And the beautiful thing is we actually think that the broader space, when you put things really into perspective, and this is the total to everything excluding Bitcoin, you can see that we still believe this right shoulder is likely to form, and that's going to see the entire market run to $3.7 trillion, which is nearly a 4x from where it currently is today. And Cardano is very much going to be a part of that. And you can see just how similarly history is repeating. If we take a look at this prior cycle, you can see your marginally lower lows, very much a similar thing to what Cardano has just previously done. Then you get that first kind of rally. You can see this here. And then you go on, you put in a high. Can you see this? You have a kind of rally, you break resistance, and then you come back inside like what Cardano is doing today. And then you consolidate, grind up the 30 weekly moving average before the real bull explodes. And that's likely going to come on the back end of the likes of Total 2 completing its pattern and starting to march towards that $3.7 trillion. And of course, Bitcoin dominance, where you're currently getting a bullish divergence on actually rolling. So this is very interesting. We did have more smaller niche structure for Cardano on the short term. I'm going to drop down to the 3 daily. And you can see there's a lot going on. Certainly if we dive down the timeframes, but we didn't actually close below this low, which is where you entered your sort of stage 2 breakout, which is a very, very good sign. It's kind of a double retest, almost, can I say Bitcoin-esque? So if we look at Bitcoin and what it did back down here, remember we were trading all of this, kind of similar to what Cardano is currently doing today. But back to the Cardano chart. The interesting thing with actually where you kind of found your base is there was a head and shoulders here for Cardano on the short-term time frame that actually you perfectly ran into. So this pattern actually is still in play. What could be an inverse head and shoulders, that's still going to give us that $2.10 target. You may want to interact with what could become a key level of significance and ultimately a neckline on the way up, but you need to do that. So we wouldn't want to see any kind of a close below this low here. Thus far, despite what took place, you haven't. Is this anything out of the ordinary for the cryptocurrency space? Well, no, it's not. And remember, actually Cardano looks unbelievably, uncannily similar, because markets typically, and this is why stage analysis works, go up and down in the exact same fashion. How similar does what you did going into 2021 look in regards to what you're doing today? They're almost exact copies with an entirely different environment, entirely different news events, different market caps, different narratives, so on and so forth. It looks absolutely fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not a chart that we're particularly worried about. And our broader analysis on the market as a whole is that we are still heading towards the upside. So we will see what happens on the short term, to sort of go back to the short term and really do some analysis on this and kind of update people on our price prediction. Our price prediction was $2.10, and we have given Cardano the bull market to get there, okay? At least this year, to be a little bit more precise. And I still think there's a damn good chance that you get there. Yes, a lot of turbulence. If you actually drop down to the smaller time frames, you did very, very interestingly have a head and shoulders here that you pretty much ran perfectly into the target. We don't quite need to be on the 2 hourly, but let's use the hourly and just kind of draw this. So this was historic resistance. You always take a key level aggressively. And if we look at, so what we're highlighting here is left shoulder, head, you fell out of this triangle, a bit of a rising wedge. Right shoulder, the right shoulder is bigger than the left, but it doesn't always need to be perfect. but we will see. So it's too early to tell, but things don't look too bad at all when you zoom out and you look at it from more of a kind of macro perspective. So to me, this chart still looks good. Just viewing it from a sort of naked chart point of view, this still looks pretty damn good. And I do still believe that the market is heading in the overall direction. Nothing from the weekend has really changed anything. It's just a case of sort of seeing what Cardano does now. What comes now is going to be of extreme importance. Are you going to do a similar thing to what you did here, where you kind of grind up and then sort of catapult off it? It's going to take a little bit of a recovery. Great for accumulating. And then you see that sort of broader upside. So we'll see. You're kind of just really coming back to the point of where you actually broke out of your stage into a stage 2 and supporting. Expect to act as support until otherwise. We've looked at Ethereum in the prior bull to kind of show that the volatility that we've seen is actually quite normal. This is crypto. This is how it goes. This is the nature of the beast that you're dealing with. And we still have that broader thesis on the overall market. So I want to know your comments in the comment section. Is history repeating? What do you think? You know, when I look at the Cardano chart along with most altcoins, to me, I still believe that we have now based. We are starting that ascent. Yes, it's typically very volatile when you kind of break out of your base into what is now an uptrend. You usually get a real slap in the face. And now I do believe we are going to see that next leg. And I very much think for Cardano, history, what led to 2021's bull market is very much repeating. That is all from me, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next.